Hello, guys and gals. Me, Mutahar, and I have made an actual genuine mistake here, and I definitely do feel like ripping the band-aid off and actually apologizing and taking ownership for it is the actual smart, adult, and reasonable thing to do. Now, of course, when you're on YouTube, there's going to be mistakes you make, you're going to be called out, and unfortunately, in some cases, you are absolutely in the wrong. And this is one of those things where I genuinely do want to accept anything wrong that I've done and try to make it actually better. So what have I done wrong? Now, if you haven't noticed in the last few videos, I've taken some sponsorships that since this, I've actually went into the YouTube editor all day this morning, and I've really looked through all I've done, and I've tried to cut things out, remove any sort of branding, and call it a day. Now, I'm not going to mention anything by name here simply because I haven't looked through all of my contracts that well. I don't really know about all the disparaging clause and everything going around, and I don't really want to mention anybody specifically by name. I'm simply making this video to notify you that we are cutting any ties with any sponsorships that have been called out in the last few days, simply because we feel that it's the right thing to do, or I really feel it's the right thing to do. Personally, I haven't really even been talking to as many people as I should have. I've literally woken up and just been on like, just research and management mode, if you will. So to understand what's been going on, a YouTuber by the name of Scott Schaefer made a video where he talked about YouTube's biggest con. And inside this video, I had like my face put up there on the thumbnail. But of course, the plot is actually a little bit deeper than that because there's actually a lot of YouTubers that have taken sponsorships from specific people that I guess they probably shouldn't have. One of them was me. All right, you've got people like Philip DeFranco, quartering Leon Lush, okay? You've got a lot of political channels like The Majority Report with Sam Cedar, David Pakman Show. You got Abba Preach, Respect, It's a Gundam, okay? You've got Moon, Dr. Mike, Speak the Truth, KTO, Jolly, Korean Englishman, Jay Aubrey. Oh no, they got my boy Dantavius and Wendigoon? Oh damn, that's not good. That's not good at all. So, of course, a lot of YouTubers have been taking sponsorships from, I guess anybody. Sponsorships are one of the things that we need. So I'm going to run through all the questions here. One of them is, why do we need sponsorships? Well, to be real with you, one of the reasons that we take sponsorships is so that we can buy and prep videos for later. So to understand what that means is, obviously, I know when a video is going to be a 1 out of 10, meaning it's a banger in the YouTube algorithm, and when a video is the failure. Some of my most favorite videos are videos regarding Linux, building crazy computers. One of the videos that we have coming up is trying to get Bloodborne working at 60 frames a second on the PlayStation 5, a hacked PS5. Now, I know that video is going to absolutely tank in the YouTube algorithm. I've been around it long enough to know when YouTube videos are just like duds and when they're successes. And for me, I like to just have fun and make those dud videos as well. Because at the end of the day, all right, it's about the video's quality and how you enjoy and how you like making those videos. If the YouTube algorithm doesn't want to pick it up, or they pick it up like 6 months down the road, not the end of the world. You still want to make that video. So for me, the ability to turn everything into a net sort of like zero business or like half profit in every video, what we do is we just take a sponsorship deal from a sponsorship. We make the money and we use that money to buy things in the future. So, when it comes to like even reviewing products like, those Steam Deck clones or, various microcomputers that are about $1,000, sometimes up to $2,000 each. In order to get the most expensive one, we just get a banger video of ours and we put a sponsorship on it. They give us a bit of money and we use that money to buy the product. And the reason why we buy the products and all of these things ourselves is so that we also don't get preferential treatment by a lot of these companies as well too. Because if we sent them an email using our actual email header, they probably could be like, oh, these guys make YouTube videos and they do get views. So maybe we should send them the best of the best so we don't get any sort of like undue attention. And the whole reality of it is that we just like to buy things for ourselves so we can have like the consumer customer experience, right? It's kind of like what Gamers Nexus does. Like we want to know what it's like to be in your shoes whenever we're dealing with anything tech related or really any product or service in general. So yeah, just literally to pay for the channel and to pay for some of the larger projects that we know may not do so well or they won't do so well, we just get sponsorships for them, okay? It's like a rotating sort of deal going around. But that's generally the idea that we have. Now, one of the sponsorships recently, they ended up coming at us with a lot of spots, and it was one of those like sponsorships where they give you a micro plot of land for, I guess you could say, you give them a few bucks, they give you novelty plots of land, and you call it a day. Now, at the end of the day, we thought this was a gag gift. There's a lot of sponsorships that we do, which people do say are scams, and generally, as long as they give out a product, we tend to understand like, oh, it is what it is. It's a sponsorship. They're giving you a product. It's not like they're out there deliberately trying to scam you out of your money. So when it came to this, when it came to these companies that gave out like plots of land, like a square foot or a square centimeter of land for like $10 or $30 or whatever, we thought it was just a gag gift. I've seen this same gag gift being given to a lot of people in the real world. Like real friends actually ended up getting it from their other friends as part of a gift for their birthdays or whatever occasion. It was literally like a last sort of ditch gift that some people would pick up, or sometimes it would just be a novelty that people would pick up just as a gift. That's pretty much all that we looked at it as. Just as an off note, there was also another aspect of actually having a specific title in front of your first name as well too, kind of like Mr. and Mrs. And generally, depending on where you lived and what the laws look like in your specific country, this could or could not happen. Again, these were gag gifts, so we didn't really look at them as too. We didn't really scrutinize this too terribly hard, but I feel like this was obviously a point to mention because it's one of the big selling points for a lot of these novelty plots of land. So again, when we looked at things a little bit closer, given recent events, we just decided to cut ties because there's no point having all of that, ruin the relationship that we have built. And again, I want to take the big old L on that because I should have done a lot better in assessing and reassessing and checking all these sponsorships for myself. At this point, a lot of this stuff is done by a third party, but that's no excuse for it. Obviously, the third party decides, but I ultimately should and do have the final say so. And I should have done my due diligence to look at this stuff and get it over with. There's a lot of sponsorships we don't take on this channel. Some of them pay an exorbitant amount of money. Some of them are mobile games. For instance, if it's not Call of Duty Mobile, which is the only mobile game I play, that and Apex, a lot of the Battle Royales, I'm not going to take that offer. I have a rule for sponsorships. Unless I use the product, I'm going to take that sponsorship, all right? Like, for instance, anytime it came to G Fuel, I drink G Fuel. I mix the chocolate G Fuel in my coffee, which actually probably isn't healthy, but I do it anyways. Manscaped, you bet I'm shaving my balls with Manscaped. Extra, I have actually used their products, and I do tend to do that. Even when it comes to things like Ridge Wallet, I still do use that wallet to this day. It's one of my default wallets, okay? So again, that's one of the rules, and that's generally how I've justified a lot of these sponsorships to me. Now, again, when it comes to other sponsorships I won't take, obviously gambling is something we don't get into for obvious reasons, given the state of my personal beliefs and what I've covered on this channel. Crypto coins, obviously we won't do it. I think it's really doubly insulting, and it hurts for me, is when I've made videos literally calling out scams, and now I've unfortunately been caught, I guess, in relation to one or under the umbrella. And it's just not a good look. It really is not. It's just not a look. It's not a good look, and it's something I should have definitely looked into. Other sponsorships we won't actually take as well too, are anything revolving around like mental health. For instance, like mental health counseling, we just won't take any sponsorship with that because unless we can validate like, actual psychologists, doctors, and people working on that front, we just don't feel comfortable doing it. And of course, that's like my personal statement on all of it. That's just like where I stand. Now, when it came to this specific sponsorship regarding plots of land, obviously we thought it was a gag gift. And generally, the only cool thing for me was the idea of global reforestation. So they worked with, a lot of these companies do work with like actual organizations that are like, charitable reforestation companies that really work with replanting trees all around the world in order to combat, deforestation efforts. And we thought that was like, the cool thing. Now, unfortunately, it seems as if there's some shenanigans around like if those trees may or may not have been planted. Again, I've been sending out emails before this. If this video sounds scattered, it's because it is. It's because I'm literally just coming at you with all the information that I have and as it develops. So again, I've been sending out emails. I've been trying to verify this all myself. And, I think apologizing is one thing, all right? Saying, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, let's call it a day. But I'm looking through our accounting for all the money we've ever been sent by any of these sponsorships that have been called out, and we're going to be taking that money, rounding it up, and donating it to these reforestation charities ourselves, okay? Just because it's the right thing to do, all right? Unfortunately, the damage has been done. I've probably pissed off a few of you, and, at the end of the day, I'm going to have to work really hard regaining that trust. that we've had, and I've unfortunately burned because of a bad sponsorship deal. Again, entirely on me. But to try to make it right, we'll give as much money as we can to, or whatever we've had, to specific charities and try to see where we go on from there. All right. Yeah, but I guess that's pretty much where it all comes out into. I've been looking further and closer into these organizations as well too. There's a few of them that claim to be legitimate. There's actually like beef between these organizations, where they keep calling each other out. Anyways, it's just a wild pit to get into. I'm not getting too far in. I'm not getting. I'm just gonna call it where it's at. We made a mistake. We made a mistake taking certain sponsors, and we're not going to do that in the future. And again, whatever money that we've had, I'm going to go look through the accounting, and we're going to go just try to make everything as right as we can, because it's really all you can do in this situation. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much all it comes down to. I wanted to address it. Yeah, I'm going to work on some other videos, and yeah, I'm out.